All right. So once again, it looked like those crazy kids were going to get back together. But in this season of Oligarchs in Love, Elon has once again attacked his former paramour, Donald J. Trump. Now, I want to be clear. I got the original video here from Michael Tracy, but my interpretation is my own.
America is going to reach heights that it has never seen before. The future is going to be amazing.
Time I was falling in love, now I'm only falling apart.
You guys are awesome. Honestly, this is like
Nothing I can say, a total eclipse of the heart.
So, little interpretation of Elon's feelings about the big guy now that they've split up. So Elon, as you probably know, accused the Donald of being a fan of the playground, but then his stock price dropped, so he tried to walk it back. But, that K got the best of him, I guess. He went on a big tweet storm. Every member of Congress who campaigned on reducing government spending and then immediately voted for the biggest debt increase in history should hang their head in shame. And they will lose their primary next year if it is the last thing I do on this earth.
Go,
and he
Elon.
Continues. If this insane spending bill passes, the America Party will be formed the next day. Well, that would be tomorrow. That would be tomorrow because apparently they passed it in the Senate. Or maybe he's going to fudge it and wait to see if it passes the House. Our country needs an alternative to the Democrat-Republican Uniparty so that the people actually have a voice. And you know who's going to give people that voice? The notorious union-busting, customer-killing billionaire oligarch who's butthurt about EV credits. That's the guy who's going to give power back to the people. It is obvious with the insane spending of this bill, which increases the debt ceiling by a record $5 trillion, that we live in a one-party country, the Porky Pig Party. Yeah, you tell me that guy's not doing K. Come on, man.
Yeah.
Time for a new political party that actually cares about the people. And he continues. Anyone who campaigned on the promise of reducing spending but continues to vote on the biggest debt ceiling increase in history will see their face on this poster in the primary next year. And it's a poster of Pinocchio that says, liar, voted to increase America's debt by $5 trillion.
Wow.
They just pretend to be two parties. It's just one uniparty in reality. Oh,
damn.
Oh, really? You don't say. You don't say. Well, welcome to the club, Elon. Welcome to the club. A lot of us figured that out a long time ago. Thought he was a genius. Don't they say he's a genius? So here's somebody here posting, I donated again to Thomas Massey's re-election campaign. Who's next? And Elon Musk quote tweets, me.
So it's on. You're going to have the MAGA pack primarying Massey, and then you're going to have Elon coming in to defend him.
Yes. Well, this is why I keep saying our greatest hope as a nation is the fact that narcissistic psychopaths are not able to, historically speaking, maintain a coalition of mutual interest because they're narcissistic psychopaths. They always end up turning on each other. They just don't have the skill set to be loyal and to maintain affection with another person.
Exactly. Well, this is why I said Elon reminds me he's like the T-Rex in Jurassic Park, right? He's the villain of the first two acts, but then because he's such an out-of-control predator, in the third act, he swoops in and saves the day by accident because he eats the other predator. Right?
Yes, without any intention of doing so.
Right, without any intention of saving the day, he just boom, he comes back
by
in.
accident.
Yeah.
So Donald finally struck back on a truth post. Elon Musk knew long before he so strongly endorsed me for president that I was strongly against the EV mandate. It is ridiculous and was always a major part of my campaign. No, it wasn't. I never heard him say that. Was that a major part of his? I'm not going to say he never said it. He says a lot of shit, but it certainly wasn't a major part of his campaign.
Right.
Electric cars are fine, but not everyone should be forced to own one. Elon may get more subsidy than any human being in history by far, and without subsidies, Elon would probably have to close up shop and head back home to South Africa.
The white South Africans are very ungrateful people.
Yeah, I know there are at least 59 slots there.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
No more rocket
enough for
launches.
Elon and his family.
Yeah, I mean, all the South Africans right now go, Elon, shut the fuck up! Shut up, you bastard! No more rocket launches, satellites, or electric car production, and our country would save a fortune. Perhaps we should have Doge take a good hard look at this. Big money to be saved. So Elon responded to this. I am literally saying cut it all now. Okay. You know, it's funny because I know he's been giving interviews where he says, yeah, we should get rid of the tax cuts. Yeah. Well, why didn't you say that when you were in the fucking government?
Right.
Standing right next to the president. It's very easy for him to say that now.
Right.
Why didn't you say that then? Why were you running around firing people at random without knowing what the impact was going to be? We haven't had time to cover it, but they've actually been scrambling to hire a lot of those people back because Elon, by his own admission, was just kind of pressing buttons to see what would happen, right? That's quite a way to run a government. Didn't hear you say, hey, this is half of the effort. Half of it has to be to eliminate these tax cuts. Never said that when you were in government. All of a sudden now, when you can't do it, now that's what you want people to think you're for. So Trump, on his way to Alligator Alcatraz, was asked about all this.
I don't know. I think we'll have to take a look. We might have to put Doge on Elon. You know what Doge is? Doge is the monster that might have to go back and eat Elon. Wouldn't that be terrible? He gets a lot of subsidies, Peter. But Elon's very upset that the EV mandate is going to be terminated. And you know what? When you look at it, not everybody wants an electric car. I don't want an electric car. I want to have maybe gasoline, maybe electric. Maybe
I bought one from him.
Maybe someday a hydrogen. If you have a hydrogen car, it has one problem. It blows up, So I'm going to give that one to Peter. To let Peter test it out.
Diplomatic community.
It's just been revoked.
Yep, there goes Elon's diplomatic community. He's going to ship him back to South Africa. He's going to send him to Alligator Alcatraz before all this is over. Yeah, I mean, this is definitely a dinosaur fight. You've got Trump and his cult versus Elon, many of whose adherents are, also Trump's adherents. But in this case, a lot of them will agree with Elon more. Elon could definitely wind up being the champion of all of the Thomas Massey, Rand Paul kind of dissidents. And he does have all that money. On the other hand, yes, what Trump is saying is true. Elon's fortune, especially now that he has destroyed Tesla as a consumer brand. We've said this many times. I don't believe it's recoverable. I think the only way they could possibly restore Tesla as a consumer brand would be to fire Elon. So his business is really dependent more than ever on government contracts. If Trump were to pull those contracts, it would probably destroy his entire empire. Now, the big question is, elephant in the room or fan of the playground in the room? Does Elon really have evidence of Donnie and Jeffy doing bad things? Does he? I would say at this point, with him threatening to primary everybody, if he doesn't climb off that ledge, If Trump doesn't pull his government contracts, there's your answer.
I mean, to me, yes, that could be a factor. But to me, I think you're going to be looking at, when it comes to Elon deciding to primary people, you're going to be looking at a year down the road where I suspect that the effects of this bill are going to be felt and that people are going to be siding with Elon just on a policy level. No blackmail withstanding,
Sure.
before you even get into any of that, just nuts and bolts.
I'm just
the
saying
tide will turn.
he could destroy his financial ability to do that. And if he doesn't, I'm sorry, that says something. That's the Donald Trump that we know.
Oh,
it's
yeah,
already suspicious that he hasn't done it.
Yeah, I mean that certainly could be too. Although Elon, he has plenty in the well to throw at these races if he wants. The big question is who's going to be playing a stronger hand 1 year from now. I suspect it's going to be Elon Musk. I suspect if they get this bill passed, which I think that they will, I think the effects of this are going to be disastrous to the point where running against this agenda is going to have major legs, and it's fantastic that this is happening. I mean, it's just great that this is happening. Like it's kind of amazing.
Yep.
And as you said, this is the best we could have hoped for, that these people are too egomaniacal and too dysfunctional to the point where they will turn on each other, and that will be their downfall. Because if Elon is successful in primarying, half a dozen to a dozen people, even if he loses almost all the primaries, he probably won't lose all of them, especially given the state of things in 1 year, if this works out the way it looks like it will.
Right.
He primaries, just to use a round number, 10 Republicans. Well, now you take the incumbency advantage out of 10 districts. If even a few of those are swing districts, now you're looking at the Republican Party on much shakier ground.
And then you have the question, is he actually going to start a competing third party?
Well, yeah, that is a bigger question.
He has the money to do it. Much more so than Ross Perot did. Ross Perot was the last crazy rich guy who tried to do that, and it didn't get very far. Elon has a lot more resources, and we're living in a very different world where I think something like that is more feasible if you have the resources, because he has control of this enormous social media platform. That didn't exist when Ross Perot tried to do that.
Right. And if you have the political will at your back, I think at this moment he probably doesn't, but the election's not this November, it's next November.
Right.
And by this time next year, I think the country is going to be pretty sour on this whole big, beautiful bill package.
They're sour on it now.
They're sour on it now. It's got a 38% favorability rating now, before it has actually done the kind of damage that it's going to do. So 1 year down the road, who comes into the primaries with a stronger hand? It is the anti-Trump coalition. That's what I think. Obviously, we don't know that for sure, but all signs point to that. And it takes a big organizing personality to sort of coalesce all of that sentiment. Elon is nothing if not that. I mean, we don't have kind words for Elon, but that is certainly true of him. He definitely has the clout, the name ID, the stature, and the resources to be a major disruptor on the right, which, again, this is the best we could have hoped for. The best we could have hoped for is that these people will just turn on each other and eat each other, and that the movement will collapse under the weight of its own contradictions, which it obviously is. They can't make an argument. I mean, all these influencers going out there making the argument, it's just absurd. Obviously, what Rand Paul and Thomas Massie are saying about this is absolutely true. And they're not even attacking it from the perspective that I would, which is that this is a gutting of the social safety net. They're saying this is an irresponsible ballooning of the deficit in order to service rich people in the form of unnecessary tax cuts. Unnecessary only because they balloon the deficit in this example. So, yeah, I mean, we can quibble about that, but big picture, they are destroying each other over this, and given the negative consequences of the bill, that's only going to get worse as the months go on, to the point where I would say by next spring, when primary season gets going, the upper hand is going to be with the anti-Trump coalition within the party. That would be the bet I would make.
I would agree. But realistically, the damage that they're going to do to the country on the way down is incalculable. We have not even begun to see what the devastating impacts of these policies are going to be. It's only a few months in, folks. It's only a few months in. This is the calm before the storm, where things are still kind of normalish.
Right.
A year
it hasn't
from
happened
now,
yet. They haven't passed it yet. They haven't implemented this stuff yet.
Yeah.
Exactly. So, that's
but
what we're
even the
looking at.
impacts of things they have done, like I keep saying, like the tourism.
Oh yeah.
You're seeing it. Look, I can see. I always say, having been a tour guide and having been a carriage driver, it's like Eskimos have, dozens of words for snow because they can see that many varieties.
Right.
If you've been dependent on tourist density for your living for decades, you can see very fine gradations of tourist density. I can see when I walk through Times Square, it's not normal.
Right.
It's not normal for the summer season.
Right. Especially,
It's not. I'm not like elbowing my way through Times Square. There's definitely a missing maybe 25-30%, I would say, light from what it would normally be in the heart of the tour season. And right now, you're not feeling the full impact because people book these vacations in advance. You're really going to see it at Christmas, and you're really going to see it going forward from there. Who's going to want to come here?
Yep.
Like, it's going to take a little time for those impacts to play out. But when you have no tourists want to come here, no academics want to come here, no students want to come here, and no entrepreneurs are going to want to come here. You know who's going to want to come here? Very big corporations that want to exploit cheap labor are going to come here, and that's about it. Those are going to be your jobs that you're going to get from torturing immigrants and throwing them to alligators. You're going to get some nice $15 an hour jobs in some big warehouse that wants to come here because it's, not a global South country, and you got a friendly government. Basically the same reason people used to want to work with Batista, right? You got a fascist government with a demoralized labor force, very weak union protections, and low wages.
Please clap.